Hey everybody, it's Jason Cruz once again with the interview. Uh, today we are talking with Katherine Corogenes. First of all, Katherine, how are you feeling today?
Oh, I'm good. I'm excited. We're 10 days out now,
Yeah,
and it's feeling real.
excellent, excellent. So the PFL Championships, New York City. Uh, is this your first time fighting in New York City?
It's my first time fighting in New York. Coming home to the US. I fought predominantly in Asia.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me, where are we finding you right now? Are you in Thailand still, or are you? Yes, you.
Yeah, I'm still in Phuket. I'm flying out on Saturday.
Excellent,
So a few more days.
excellent. So can I do a little backstory on you first because this you just started out and this is your fourth fight in MMA, and so
Mhm.
tell us a little bit how you ended up. I'm reading your backstory. You started. You were born in Pennsylvania, but you're training out in Phuket, Thailand. Tell me a little bit about your backstory, how you are training in Phuket.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a funny story. So I'm from the US. I'm from Philadelphia, so I'm happy to be going to the East Coast for this fight. Um, but I was actually living and doing my PhD in Germany, um,
Oh wow!
previous to coming to Thailand.
And what were you
So
getting your PhD in?
evolutionary anthropology.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so okay, now you got to tell us now. So evolutionary anthropology, is that kind of like how we all evolved into human beings?
Yeah, so there's different sects of it. So what I focused on was like primatology. So I actually worked with chimpanzees in Africa. So more how behaviors like social learning evolved from who we evolved from, chimps.
Okay.
So I really took a career 180. um, I
Well,
went from following chimps in Africa to now, fighting MMA.
hold on for a second. Now, this is great. This is great because now I'm super interested here. Not that I wasn't before, but now I am. Just on a different path here. So where did you go to college?
So I did my bachelor's degree at the University of Pennsylvania in
Okay,
Philadelphia,
okay.
and I was doing my PhD at the Max Planck Institute in Leipzig, Germany. Um, yeah,
Wow.
which afforded me. It's more of like a think tank, so you don't have to do a lot of like the TA and the teaching of classes. You really are fully funded to pursue the research that interests you. It's a good gig. Yeah.
Now, how did you get interested in evolution of primatology?
Yeah, so it's evolutionary anthropology with a
Anthropology.
focus on primatology.
Okay.
Um, I kind of I kind of fell into it when I was at the University of Pennsylvania. I went to Argentina with a psychology professor of mine, and he worked with primates. So that was my first experience. But like I applied because I was thinking like, woo, free trip to Argentina, like, I wasn't really,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
1920.
yeah.
And so I went and I just loved it. I loved the physicality of the work. You're following the whatever primate you're working with. Then it was monkeys. I'm more of a physical, not behind the desk type
Yeah.
person. And it's just, I've always had a love for animals and just seeing their behavior and how similar it was to us. And, you kind of get into the drama of their family too.
Mm.
You're like, oh, no, she didn't, like I just fell into it. And then I started focusing more on those studies and I
So
kept
how
going back to Africa.
so you basically tracking these primates like so how do you go about just finding the animals? I mean, I assume that you have to be a little more covert in following them, otherwise they would just move away, or how does that
Of
work?
course. Yeah, it depends the field site. I worked with habituated animals, so they were
Hmm.
used to our presence. We were
Okay.
kind of like trees. So you go there before they wake up and you stay with them until they sleep. So you are kind of like part of their environment.
It's like a reality show.
Yeah, it really is like a reality show. But of course, you can't, disturb them. You
Right.
can't make loud noises. You are in their home. You have to be respectful, and
Oh wow.
it's very physically taxing. Like you're walking 20 kilometers a day, running through brush. I loved it. Yeah, it was.
Okay,
Yeah.
now, so tell us then, how did you come about switching 180
Yeah.
to MMA? Now, I understand you did BJJ for a while beforehand. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And
So
so,
my base is jujitsu.
yeah. So how did you come about coming to MMA?
So after my field work, you kind of during your PhD, you kind of have a year or two to sit behind a desk, and I was getting really burnt out. So I came to Thailand for holiday, and a friend of mine was teaching BJJ, and I took one of the classes and just was hooked. I feel like a lot of people who do jujitsu, it's you either love it or hate it. You just get into it so much. So I was here for 2 weeks. I went back to the PhD. I wasn't happy with the bureaucracy, things that were going on. So I said, you know what, let me take a bit of a sabbatical. Came back to Thailand for 2 months. 5 years later, here I am. So yeah, I
Wow.
just didn't leave. I still have suitcases with my friend in Germany. He actually just texted me today. Yeah, I fell in love with it. It's something that comes very naturally to me, BJJ.
Mhm.
I had a really supportive coach, Marcio Caesar, who saw potential in me and said, hey, this could be a track for you if you're interested. So I started doing jujitsu full time, competing, winning, MMA. Yeah.
So, okay, so I do jujitsu too, and I understand like when I have friends who try it out, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I got." So like I understand you either really love it and you just go, or you just don't like it, and that's fine too. But most of the people I know, once they're hooked, they're hooked. And what was it
Yeah.
about jujitsu that got you hooked?
I think it was a big part of it was the camaraderie and the family aspect of it. Um, I know it sounds corny, but BJJ really is this community, and it really is in most gyms a place where on the mats there's no ego. Everyone's been zero. Everyone's started, not knowing how to shrimp, but super supportive of each other. So it was something I feel like maybe I had been missing in my life, this sense of camaraderie and family, and very different from working in a field that is very competitive, the PhD, and very political, and who gets the grant, who gets the funding. I more enjoyed the family part of it. And of course, I'm a little aggressive, so it channeled that in a very healthy way.
So, did you do any sort of martial art before you did this holiday in Thailand?
Actually, I did not. I played soccer for maybe 15 years. So I've always done track, lacrosse. I've always been very athletic, but martial arts and BJJ in particular was never on the scene. Now it's blown up in Philly, but when I was growing up, it was boxing.
Mhm.
But I fell more towards the traditional sports. So it just something clicked.
I see. And now, so then, how did you get involved into MMA?
So MMA also kind of came naturally because my style in jujitsu is um, aggressive, top heavy, pressure, and my coach also started BJJ and transitioned to MMA and thought this could be a good path for you as well. So we tried it out and it worked. Yeah, it's just I feel like everything in my life, it just I kind of take one big leap and then the rest snowballs. Um, I'm lucky and I'm grateful in that respect.
So how long was it between the transition? Well, I don't know if it's transition, but the start of BJJ to, I mean, sorry, start from learning MMA to your first fight.
So actually, I was kind of thrown into the deep end for my first fight. Yeah, so I had been competing regularly in BJJ and full time for about 3 years. And I was dabbling in MMA, but of course not training. Like I wasn't in a camp or anything. And about 3 months, there was some chatter about, okay, maybe we can get you a fight. And so I think about 3 months of really getting killed, I got thrown into my first fight.
Oh my goodness. What is so I assume your BJJ coach was also coaching you in MMA, correct?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
How does that transition work? Do you just go straight, let's do striking, or what is the methodology to transition the BJJ practitioner to doing MMA?
Oh man. Well, of course you have to do some striking. And since I was in Thailand, Muay Thai is the obvious answer.
Yeah, okay.
So, he would throw me in to do pad work with some of the Muay Thai coaches. We would integrate that into, takedowns, start working on my footwork, because it is different than competing in jiu-jitsu where, I'm going as low as possible. It's a different sport completely. But I've been lucky that my coach has so much experience in translating BJJ to MMA that I'm a blind follower. I do as I'm told. So, and it works.
Sometimes that might actually be a benefit. At least coaches will probably think that as well. But and so you did well. KO first KO in your first fight, and so and then your second fight went well too. So your upcoming fight is against Dakota Dicheva. I'm sorry if it's early here. It's 6 a.m. here in Seattle. So as you can see, I was drinking some coffee but anyway, how did you come about getting this PFL opportunity?
Yeah, so again, I feel right place, right time, gratitude to whatever universal forces put this in front of me. But I think a lot of fighters had issues during the COVID time, long layoffs from fighting, injuries, mindset. But I just kept pushing, and things started opening here in Thailand, and I did my next two fights really quickly, dominated, and just people hearing about me. I've been in Phuket for a long time. There's a lot of high level fighters here. I've done a lot of high level fighter camps. So I've always kind of been the bridesmaid, not the bride, and I feel like finally it's my time, my wedding, it's I got picked, because I have been grinding, and my coaches and my manager, my name's been around for a long time.
Well, so how do you feel going, with your upcoming fight? How's this whole training camp been leading up to it?
Yeah, I'm lucky to have had a full camp for this. We've done 8 weeks solid. I can say I'm in the best shape of my life. This cut has been very easy thanks to my coach and sponsors. I feel confident. This has been my hardest camp, but also the easiest, if that makes sense. I'm excited. I'm feeling pumped.
Yeah. So okay, now you're in Thailand. How are you going to deal with the I guess the time difference? I mean, is it going to take you a couple of days, or are you starting to do different time sleep patterns, or do you and your coaches just it's going to be fine after a day? How's that going to work?
I mean, for me, I'm used to travel. I traveled a lot for my PhD before, like I said. So a 1-2 days being smart, getting the natural sunlight, not napping 5 hours when you when you land. We're not doing any kind of sleep training here. It's not necessary. I'll be good.
So this will be, I guess, one of the first fight weeks for you. So, what is do you and your camp already have a plan? Is this something where you want to be around your camp, or do you want to just kind of isolate and focus? Well, how is the fight week going to be?
I'm excited for it because it is like my first big fight week. Again, I put a lot of trust and faith in my coach, who's done this a million times himself and for other fighters on big promotions. I do tend to kind of close off and get a bit cold when I get closer to a fight. I don't do it on purpose. It's just like focus mode, like a horse with blinders.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be all business, I think, but showing my coach around New York a little bit too.
Oh yeah, yeah. So will you have a lot of friends and family coming from Philadelphia? It's a short distance, I assume, but yeah. Well, it is, but yeah.
It's easy, 2 hour train, take a fast train, 1 hour. So yeah, it'll be the first time my mom sees me fight. Yeah, some family, some friends will come down. But again, I get so focused. I've told them, like, don't worry about coming. I'll see you after, because before I'm like a Terminator.
Yeah. So are you going to be taking a holiday afterwards? I assume maybe at least a long weekend in New York City.
I'm gonna do a weekend in New York. It'll be my coach's first time in the US, so it'll be nice to get that money, get that win, treat him to a steak dinner, and then I go see I'll stay with my mom for 10 days in Philly and enjoy a little home time. I've not been home in 3 years because of the COVID situation.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So this will be your first time your mom will see you in person in 3 years.
Yes.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So, it's going to be a great holiday for you. You're going to do well next week. What is the plan going forward for you as far as your MMA career?
Going forward, I hope to grow within PFL. I would love for them to build this new weight category I'm in. Would love to see a Grand Prix, would love to get in that tournament, and just keep getting better and better and just keep putting girls to sleep.
Excellent. So PFL 10 takes place Friday, November 25th, Black Friday. It's the red wedding for you. And Dakota Cheva is the opponent for you. The Hulu Theatre, New York City, Madison Square Garden, pay-per-view on ESPN Plus. Go get it. Katherine, it was great talking to you. Have a great travels to the US, first of all. And we know you do well on Friday. We'll be watching.
Thank you so much.